What's up, everyone? Sean here with Blue Ridge Silverhound, and we got the Monday market report for the week ending November 20th, 2022. All right, so this is the video that I do once every week. Generally, it will drop either Sunday night or Monday morning, where I talk about some of the most notable post 1900 era of US coinage, and they're all graded. So we talk about coins. Generally, we refer to this age of being just the modern age of coinage. And the reason why I do this is it gives everybody a kind of like 40,000 foot view of not only this market. If the modern market performs good, generally you're going to look at the entire market performing just as well. But if the modern market doesn't quite, fill in kind of like what we're looking for as far as performance, maybe a down week, or the market in general is just retracing or in a recessionary period, generally that'll also affect a lot of the other coins as well. So it's more for the entire market and less of just the modern stuff that we look at. And that's why I do it. I do it every week, but doing this particular video for, I think, coming up on 4 years now. And it's one of my most popular videos, and it's fantastic. I personally like it myself. So we're going to look at all the coins that have sold here in the last 7 days, straight from greatcollections.com, one of my favorite auction sites. They put up auction listings every single week, and rest assured, a lot of the coins that they do put up on there are really high quality specimens. Traditionally, coins that you normally see at any other auction house like Heritage or Stack's Bowers, like once every 3 months, during a big show. Great Collections puts them out basically every single week. So this week, no exception. I would say for the most part, we have a pretty average looking report. With exception of one particular denomination, it kind of dominated the report in a way that you just don't typically see. And by the way, spoiler, it's not Lincoln cents. It's actually a completely different denomination. To blow you away at some of those sales of that particular coin type. But yeah, everything's graded. Generally, we see coins graded by PCGS or NGC on the list. They are the top tier grading company going today, or grading companies going today. CAC Grading will be coming out here first quarter of 2023. We'll just add that to the list as another reliable high-end grading company. They've actually just released photos of their new graded slabs, and as restrained as the slabs look, I think they will work just fine. There is something about simplicity that I personally like in a graded slab. So we'll see how that all shakes out. So I believe like February or March is when we're going to see graded material from that company. But let's go ahead and jump right in. Thank you guys for tuning in on this Sunday night. Go ahead and grab a nice hot beverage, a cup of tea like I did. Or if you're checking this out on a Monday morning, happy Thanksgiving week, by the way. I will still be around a week from today doing the next Monday market report, the last one for the month of November, crazy as that sounds. But yeah, you guys have a wonderful short week. Enjoy it the best that you can. Let's go ahead and see which coins have sold here that is worth mentioning. Okay, we're going to start out like we normally do with the lower denominations. So we have the 1 cent coins. We have a 1958 Lincoln wheat cent. Yes, this one is a proof strike. Very nice looking coin. Still very affordable. Proof set, if you were to go out there and do some cherry picking. These 1958 proof sets still can still be found for around $30 to $35. They used to be available for a lot less than that, but as the market kind of shifts and more people take an interest in the numismatics market itself or the collecting aspect of it, the prices will just continue to go up. But yeah, this is a good one here, mostly because the coin features really nice cameo contrast, which is something that you don't traditionally see for these late 50s or 1950s proof sets at all. Generally, the frosty surfaces you see here will wear out over time after so many strikes, and they'll just begin to kind of give a little shiny appearance, as you would see here in the fields. But overall, that's what really makes this one special. I would say less than 1% of the entire run of 58 Lincoln cents actually has any cameo contrast to talk about. So this one is an NGC Proof 68 Red. It does say Ultra Cameo, which is their particular designation. If it were PCGS, they use Deep Cameo as an equivalent. This one ended up selling for a nice sum of money here. $2,193.75 was the final hammer price on this beautiful Lincoln. Coming up next here is probably a coin that is better suited for what we call the registry set market. Folks generally pick up these high-end pieces to do a registry, to put it together. And a registry is pretty much a complete date set of the highest grade. In theory, that's what it is. Some people even do low-grade examples to keep it affordable, but a lot of the whales out there, the folks that have the deep pockets, they want the finest grades of every single coin. It's a points-based system. It's more bragging rights than anything else. And you're probably asking yourself, well, why do it? Well, it's for that, bragging rights. These folks want to be known for having the finest sets out there, and money does not get in the way at all. So this one right here is an NGC graded Mint State 67 Plus full red. It's a relatively common date if you're looking for a high-end like Mint State 67 and up graded coin. They are out there if you need them. The populations are actually quite high in Mint State 67, either through PCGS or NGC. So this one right here did sell for $1,293.75. With that kind of price tag, more than likely that there's quite a few of these at this grade level. So take stock in whatever you want with that information. But yeah, registry set appeal is still a huge thing even today. I haven't really seen it let up at all. The interest level is just really high with this type of collecting. Now, here's one of my favorite varieties. I felt like I've talked about this one over a number, probably 4 or 5 times in the last few months. There's just spectacular examples coming out of the woodwork of this particular variety. It's a 1943 D over D repunch mint mark. You can actually see the secondary Denver mint mark is punched southwest of the primary. It is a marquee variety within the Lincoln Cent series, and it's actually quite a valuable one at that as well, especially in Mint State grades. This one right here is a PCGS Mint State 66 example. I think we've seen quite a few 67s and 66 pluses here in the last month or so, but here's a little bit lower graded example. The price still quite nice. This one ended up selling for $1,413. I would imagine that a Mint State 65 will drop under $1,000. So if a budget is your calling and you want this variety, that's kind of where you're going to be looking at for affordability, is that 65 level. Now here's a really nice piece here. Very, very seldom do we see, like Mint State 68 caliber coins pre-1940. They're traditional unicorns in spite of how high the mintages are of some of these 1930s Lincolns. Like this one right here, 1935. many millions of this particular date was produced. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's very common, and if you needed to obtain just a BU specimen for, say, an album or a typeset, you could do that really easy for around 10 to 20 bucks. However, for registry sets, it means a lot more to have a very high numerical grade. You know, the 68 on this one is just that. So as a result, this one ended up hammering at $8,166.38. Now, this one right here is here based off of what it means to Lincoln Cent collectors. You know, it's a key date, and every single 1922 was produced at the Denver Mint. Theoretically, they're all supposed to have Denver Mint marks. However, by some mint mistake thing that happened where either the dies had clogged to the point where they won't strike up the D mint marks on these or something to that effect. That's how these occur. Now, you'll notice that on this one, the label notates strong reverse. There's actually 4 different reverse dies that were used for 1922 Lincoln Cents. Most specifically, the no D, or the plain as they would call it. This one right here, I believe, is die number 3. There's 2 different strong reverse dies. And depending on what kind of obverse strike they have, will determine which one is which. But just a good looking coin. I mean, it's not a high end, kind of trophy. However, if you need this one and you're not willing to maybe settle for one that's a VG or a fine example, you can't go wrong with an XF45, which is what PCGS assigned to this one. This one ended up selling for $2,430. Still a very rich coin for most collections, but again, there's no accounting for quality. If you're looking for that, this one has it all. Very nice early teens example here. This is a 1919S Lincoln Wheatie. And this one right here grades PCGS Mint State 65 plus, and it's also red brown. So it's not completely highly red to the point where it was just minted yesterday. This one had seen a low oxidation during its time. Still a beautiful coin. And again, coins, the earlier you go within the Lincoln Cent series, and by the way, the series itself is well over 110 years old. So things like this are still hotly pursued as a type coin, as maybe kind of like a fringe hole filler type of set registry, or it can be used as a investment portfolio piece. All right, that's another good place for this one. This one ended up selling for $1,857.94 here this evening. All right, so we're on to Jefferson nickels. We got a little bit of a short list here, but how about we start out with one of my favorite varieties, bar none, on U.S. coinage, and that's the 1939 doubled Monticello, or doubled die reverse nickel. This one is the FS801 in the Cherry Picker's Guide. Just looking at the reverse here, you're going to see some of the strongest doubling that you will ever see on a Jefferson nickel, especially on the word Monticello and 5 cents. You will go blind if you stare at it too long, so word to the wise. This one right here ended up selling for $4,050, and the big reason why is this one is a Mint State 66 with full steps. You don't see too many examples of this variety with full steps, but when one does come out in the marketplace, bidders do take notice. Couple buffaloes as well. How about another 3 legs? This is an all-star among collectors. People love these. They're not particularly rare, but because of their status as one of the marquee 20th century varieties, much like the 55 DDO Lincoln Cent and a few others. This is a coin that is highly desired in any grade. This one right here just so happens to be an NGC Mint State 63, But what I like most about it is the original color that the coin possesses. So the toning is not too crazy, but it's enough to say, I got some personality here. Why don't you give me a throw? If you're looking to purchase one, this is one right here that I think most people would be happy to own. This one ended up at $4,612.50. Again, the 63 is a pretty good grade for this type of coin. Anything higher than this, and you're really asking for a wallet that's going to be burning on you if you're not careful. So that front leg's abraded away, and that's why it's called the three legs. Silly. And we also have a 1931S, just a regular good old standard date for this series. Quite tough, a little bit lower mintage than some of the other dates around it. This one is a PCGS Mid-State 66 Plus. Very nice, acceptable grade, but you'll notice on these particular dates, the luster isn't particularly attractive. This one ended up at $3,853.12 this evening. And I've seen much better 31Ss. So this one's still a necessity for some of those registry sets. And, possibly a good typeset will want this as well. 1914S, a very, very tough date here. I don't know. It doesn't look too much like a Mid-State 65. It might be just the dull, lifeless, kind of like lusterless appearance to it. Is what we're talking about here. I mean, you could find much better examples of this date with better luster and a just nicer strike. You'll notice that the strike is quite weak, especially in the highest points here on the braids, and then on the reverse on black diamonds, front leg area. These are areas I look for detail and depth of strike, and this one, you're kind of settling if you're buying this, even though it's a 65. The coin, there are better examples that come in a marketplace, and that probably stands reason as to why this one only sold for $1,587.38. I've actually seen other mid-state 65s eclipse the $2,000 mark based off of better luster. This one kind of has that heavy looking skin to it that I don't particularly care about, and apparently a few others didn't either because of its sale price. And of course, we're going to round out the nickels here with a coin that I have a personal affinity for. It's a coin that I've always wanted to own. I have its Denver minted brethren, but this is the 1912 Liberty V nickel. This is the San Francisco minted example. It's the first year of the nickel to feature a physical mint mark. So here's the S mint mark here on this one. This is an NGC Mid-State 64 example. Very nice. It's got some phenomenal kind of light pastel toning, especially on the obverse of the coin. The back's a little bit dark, but overall, I mean, this is a great example of a key date. Liberty V nickels don't get too much love. In general, it's probably it's very much on par with like 2-cent pieces and let's see what else. 5-cent fish scale seated Liberty half dimes. They're coins that are very underappreciated in today's market, but still, this is a coin that I will love, and eventually I'll own something that's as nice as this one. So this ended up selling for $1,866.38. Just a good looking coin here. All right, now we're on to dimes. So we bypassed Roosevelt's. There wasn't anything worth mentioning this week for that particular series, and that's okay. That happens. But Mercury's are pretty well represented this week, starting out with a variety that I don't get to talk about too often, but it's on a 1945 Mercury dime. This is a doubled die obverse. It's also referred to as the FS101 in the Cherry Picker's Guide. A lot of the doubling is featured, I believe, on the motto, "In God We Trust," and then to a lesser extent on the date and Adolf Wyman's initials, which is the AW here on the right side of Liberty's neck area. But this one right here, Mid-State 65, again, it's more about the variety on this one than just a high grade. Spectacular coin. It's not a full strike. It doesn't have the split bands on the reverse. This one sold for $1,306.12. So a very nice high-end specimen of this Cherry Picker's Guide variety. And here's also a 41S. Now, this is just a world-beaten kind of registry set. Gauntlet. It's a NGC Mid-State 68 with full bands. Tougher date for a full strike because it's San Francisco. Good looking coin, very lustrous. This one ended up selling for $1,829.25. And here's also a 1920 AD, a very, very tough date, especially with full bands. This one actually got it. It's a PCGS Mid-State 64. So this is probably, meant for, say, a nice high-end typeset. It could be for a high-end non-registry style Mercury dime set, which does exist. There are people that actually just armchair kind of collect these things. They don't have to be Mid-State 67s or 68s. They could do, kind of like these nicer high-end hybrid type grades like a 63 or 64. But good looking coin. Again, it's something that I think appeals to a lot of people because it's the series. Mercury dimes are just really popular. This one sold for $2,306.25. And then finally for dimes, we also have a Barber. We have a 1914S. Not particularly a key date or a tough date to find, but, this one is a high-grade piece. Mid-State 66, CAC certed as well. You can see that green bean there by PCGS. Very good-looking example. Nice and white. This one sold for $2,430. Okay, so the performer of the week are quarters, and Washington quarters have paved the way. Actually, the oldest coin that we have on the list is 1947. All right, so which says a lot. When we don't have to get into things like standing liberties or barber quarters, I mean that's a pretty good indicator that the market did and adjusted very well this week to this series. So how about we start off with the 1993 Denver. You'll find that the few coins that I do have for Washington quarters are all registry set candidates. So, nothing really earth-shattering on the variety front or errors or anything like that. So keep that in mind. This one is a PCGS Mid-State 67 Plus. So a very nice high-grade caliber coin for a registry set. This one sold for $2,418.75. And here's also 82P. Very tough date here for this one. It's not an 83 though. All right, so they didn't make mid-sets in 83, but 1982 is still a decent year. A little bit tough, especially to find one that looks as lustrous as this, which seems to be the low point for the early 80s Washingtons. This one is a Mid-State 68. You just can't get any better than that. This is a top-end grade. $5,177.25 was the final sale price of this one. Kind of a come-from-left-field type of price tag. It's truly phenomenal, and it's nice to see something like this. It's thought-provoking. It gives people something to have a conversation about, whether good or bad, And my favorite and everybody else's, we got good old Drummer Boy Bicentennial Quarter. Again, making their twice per year appearance on the PC or the MMR. Sorry about that. I got my reports mixed up. Here's a PCGS Mid-State 68. It's one of the top grades for it. I know the top grade, I believe, is 68 plus. All right, so those coins are 5-figure coins all day long. I think the pops are very thin, like maybe 2 or 3 or 4. This one right here is still a good looking coin too. $3,730.50 was the final sale price. And there's just something about a very nice, clean, attractive bicentennial quarter that appeals to the crowd. This is kind of like the more modern version of the 1943 Lincoln set. That is a zinc-coated steely. You know, people love different, and when it's different and it's like a one-shot type year coin, you know, it's a coin that will have tons of future market value. Here's a 1966. This is the second one in as many weeks I've talked about in high grades. The other one was a Mid-State 68 Plus, I believe. That one sold for over $10,000. So here's just a 68. I know, right? Feel sorry for this guy. Yeah, I mean, registry set is where this one belongs. And, you know, this one, because it's not a top pop, only managed to squeak in $3,195. So again, too bad, so sad that it wasn't a higher grade, but it is what it is. Yeah, I was a little bit sarcastic there with that one because it's still a lot of money. Here's a beautifully toned 1962. Very common date, but these early 60s silvers are deceptive when it comes to grading, especially when they hit the top tier grade levels like this one, which is a Mid-State 67 Plus. This one sold for $4,106.25. And then finally, to round off the Monday market report for this week, how about 1947? Guys, 22 plus million of this date was produced, which is a lot. That's a lot of coins. But this one, of course, this is one of only 3 graded in a Mid-State 68. All right, so there are, you know, a bunch of other losers on the Washington set registry that are not able to obtain this coin. And you're going to have to shell out some big bucks. This one ended up selling for $15,189.75. Yeah, that's just a marvelous amount of money. You know, and there's none finer. There's no 68 plus, no 69s, nothing like that. This is it. This is the top end. The likelihood that you'll see another one of these come out in the marketplace, it might be a year or two. We'll see. But yeah, I guess that's how we're going to end off the Monday market report for this week. Thank you guys again for all your views and support. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to love, share, subscribe, and follow me on TikTok, please. I'm almost to 10,000 followers. If you like the shorter videos and you don't like the rambly mess that I sometimes do, come check me out on there. You guys will love it. But that's going to go ahead and wrap it up. You guys have a fantastic Thanksgiving week if you're doing that. Be safe, drive safe. I will see you guys shortly for the next video. You guys take care and have a great time.